Hello and welcome to Joyless Gaming and Injustice 2 Ability Analysis. I'm going to look at Swamp Thing today for something different. I apologise if the background is a bit dark, I'll try to brighten it up, but I just wanted to do something a bit different. First, I'll look at Swamp Juice. Now, this is an odd one to demonstrate, because what it does is allows him to regenerate trait meter from his down forward 2 grab. By pressing the trait button during that, it regenerates a chunk of his trait meter. But if you want to say meter burn first for health back, do that first because you will always drop them immediately after doing Swamp Juice. Honestly, kind of questionable because his trait is already kind of questionable, so regenerating trait meter is not necessarily a priority, but it's there. Next is Bonsai. Now, his normal down back 2, Refoliation, which can launch and is his wake up, now has a second input essentially. It's down back 2 down, and it does a mid instead. And it goes out that way instead of upwards. But it has much of the same properties. Being able to launch. Being an invincible wake-up, and having armor while standing in his trait. It's not as plus on block when meter burned as the regular down back 2, and while it says it has the same startup, I swear it doesn't. I'd swear it's actually faster, and it's a mid instead of a high, so honestly, despite the fiddly input, it's kind of a better version of his existing down back 2, and it doesn't actually replace it, although maybe if it did, it might be easier than doing a down back down. It's not that hard because it's not super fast on startup, so you get time to distinguish. I mean, it might be more difficult on a controller now that I think about it, but anyway, that's Bonsai. Next one is Trunk Punch Pull. Now this is Trunk Punch, it's his standing 3, standing heavy. You can meter burn that now, and it does the grab as of the same as the down forward 2. So it turns that into his command grab, which you can do all of the options afterwards. But I say all of, you can't meter burn this and then still do a move afterwards, it will just drop them, so it's like it's already used bar, so if you're going to spend bar, don't spend an extra bar. But that's what that does. Sadly, you cannot meter burn it on block and then grab them, which is a bit of a shame. Next is Spine Blast. Is back forward 2, does not replace anything, so that's nice. It's a projectile. It's not particularly fast on startup and only does about 5% damage. And you can meter burn it for extra damage, lots of spines, but they're all high, so you can do some chip damage on block or a bit of extra damage on hit, but otherwise it still is a high, which is kind of, things being highs at full screen is sort of Swamp Thing's problem. Then is Wondrous Meadow, which is just a meter burn version of his trait, which puts out more at the start. Which, as I said earlier about Swamp Juice, his trait is already questionable at best. Spending meter on it to make it cover more distance when it still has the same problems, notably going away on hit. Yeah. So, highly dubious, that one. And finally, there is Sinking Slough. Now, this is 2 slots, and it replaces his trait, which, as I've said a couple of times, his trait's already questionable at best, with a teleport. And a positionable teleport. You can stay in place, you can go in front, you can just go straight behind them, or you can go further behind them. But it still has the same kind of regeneration on that, so having teleport on that long of a cooldown, again, semi-questionable. The fact that it's 2 slots means you can't combine it with Swamp Juice to get meter back faster. So... But it does help compensate for Swamp Thing's major problem, which is that he's a mid-range character in a long-range game, and his long-range options don't always go full screen, except for that, which is a high, unless you meter burn it, but they can still block it. It's not a guaranteed teleport. So, having the ability to close in, and because you can choose which side, you know, it's a back to block game, although it's down to block low, so unless you want to teleport in and then go for the slow overhead, I don't know. But it's there, and it's bound to throw a few people off. And that is it for Swamp Thing. He's not really solving all of his major issues with these abilities, unfortunately. So thanks for watching. I hope that this was entertaining or informative. Bye for now.